Hey guys, it's Steve, and it's time for Angela Asgard's Assassin issue number 2. This is quite a really great issue. I have read the issue number 1, and here we go with the 2. And the artwork and illustration overall, it's really great. Let me go about some brief history of Angela. For this one, from Marvel.com, spinning out of the events of original Sin, Angela, an angel from the 10th realm, has learned her true heritage as an Asgardian daughter of Odin, and she's not exactly happy about it. We had the chance to talk with writers Margaret Bennett and Kieran Gillen and artist Stephanie Hans, who will also be joined by Phil Jimenez to find out just what they have in store for Marvel's Angriest Angel. Marvel.com Angela is still a relatively new character to the Marvel universe, so do we want to give her a brief introduction so people that may not already be familiar know who you're talking about? This answer is given by Kieran Gillen, and yeah, we probably could. Angela is a character who has relatively few stories published but has an incredibly complicated history. Conceptually, it's probably the better way to talk about her, especially as you got into specifics. So it's a brief history given by the creators of this one, but in the comicvine.com they have given the review for the issue number 2, and especially thanks to Tony G. Manguero. It is pretty great. Angela has incurred the wrath of Asgard in her latest decision. Was there any other way this could play out? The few good things about this one: Angela is becoming a more and more complex and interesting character in the Marvel universe. While I did read the series in which she debuted years ago, I can barely recall any real depth or character given to her. Now that it's been revealed what her true heritage is, and with her own series, Kieran Gillen and Margaret Bennett are exploring the possibilities of who she is and what she is really about. The first issue showed Angela on the run. It turns out she took something from Asgard that could only lead to a massive pursuit. With the revelation at the end of the first issue, we do journey back a little to the moments prior to her big departure from Asgard as the action and pursuit kick into gear. We also get to find out more about what makes Angela who she is. The art and colors really fits the majestic feel of the story. Phil Jimenez handles the art in the main part of the story. There's plenty of action and details is superb, and as usual I always like the figure drawings and the illustration and the figures, and especially for Angela it's really nice and it's really seductive. That Romulo Fajardo's colors sets the perfect tone for the art and situation. Stephanie Hans' art for the real flashback scenes has a cool feel to it as well. Normally I get bothered by different artists in the same book, but the destination between current events and the past is totally clear. But sometimes it may change, sometimes it may not change, depending on the issues and depending on the stories. But it's overall pretty much great. That is, I really like it about this one. But as usual, all the comics has good things and bad things also. Here are some bad things about this one. The flashback part where we find out more about Angela's characters and integrity is great, but does feel a little out of place. The situation that brought it up and how long the telling it feels slightly intrusive to the main story. It's no wonder their pursuers were able to catch up to them after a 5-page telling of Angela's relationship and time with the angels. We still don't know exactly why Angela decided to take the baby. It's also surprising that the baby hasn't cried or wanted to be fed up, but that could just be due to Asgardian physiology. It's really terrible sometimes, and it's really confusing also. This is pretty much cool about this one, but overall this is the successful of a comic that while reading this one you can't imagine about some faults or something. You just get to entertain about this one. So even if Angela knows of her true heritage on Asgard, that doesn't mean she has to like it, as she and her birth mother Freyja trade barbs at the All Father's expense. While the jump to action is slightly abrupt, having Angela kidnap her own infant sister lends some great urgency to this comic, while Phil Jimenez lends a Parisian flair to his ornate pages. For my money, Stephanie Hans blows the book out of the water with her gorgeous painted imagery. This is given by Newsarama.com. But here we go back to the verdict from ComicVine.com, they have given Angela Asgard Assassin is shaping up to be a book full of action and characterization. We are finding out more about the potential of Angela's character and what she's all about. Kieran Gillen is crafting a fun and exciting tale with Angela going up against certain Asgardians, and the flashback sequences by Gillen and Bennett add even more to who Angela is. While the flashback is informative, it did feel a little out of place in the time and moment it was told. If you have been craving some good old-fashioned and bombastic action and storytelling, you need to check out what Angela is all about. So hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Angela Asgard Assassin issue number 2, and lots of fans and lots of guys and friends requested me to do this issue review, and this is here we are. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to enjoy this comic full, just go to store and buy this comic. This has helped all the manufacturers also. So have a nice day. Hey guys, it's time for Ant-Man issue number 1. It's really long waited issue. I have waited it for months. I was really excited, and right now today I'm really excited when I got this issue in my hands, and I have read it after within 1 hour, and I took a long time because I wanted to enjoy every pages. It's always because I have waited a long time, that's why, and it should be worth it with my books, that's why I have taken a long time and I read this issue. Right now I'm gonna read the reviews for you guys. Hope you guys will enjoy this one. Here we go with ComicVine.com reviews. This is by Tony G. Mann, and this is God. I've given a great 5 stars. Scott Lang is doing his best to make it as a hero and a father with the ability to control ants. Let's be honest, not many people can or would say Ant-Man is their favorite superhero. This is something the book realizes. Ant-Man may not be the coolest concept for a superhero, but Nick Spencer is going to make you care about the character. Marvel always excelled at the idea of flawed heroes, starting back in the 60s. Scott Lang barely has his act together. He's gone through some tough times despite trying to do his best. Luck just hasn't always been on his side. It's his traits that make him more of a human character. Being able to shrink down and control ants might not sound like the coolest thing, but seeing Lang in action, you start to realize there could be something to a series focusing on Ant-Man, and it's really exciting when the movie's coming on in coming July, and that's why before that one this story is gonna be hit. I hope it's hit in my way. It's really cool. Not much of cosmic or not much of adrenaline rush actions like other series issues, but it got a really nice story and ups and downs, and it also feels like a good TV series kind of thing, and the stories are like that. Scott Lang was a thief who first became Ant-Man after stealing Henry Pym's Ant-Man suit to save his daughter Casey from a heart condition. This is the history of the Scott Lang Ant-Man series. Reforming from his life of crime, he soon took on a full-time career as Ant-Man with encouragement of Hank Pym. He became an affiliate of the Fantastic Four. This is really a long future long story, so I'm not gonna do with this stories, but it would be revealing sometimes. I know that Spencer does an excellent job introducing Lang and his complex past to new readers without drawing things out for older ones. I was personally thrilled to see mention of his time with the Future Foundation. The idea of Lang trying to make ends meet by finding a job as well as try to get visitation rights to see his daughter Casey adds a different element to the regular superhero comic. Raman Razan's art is a perfect fit. While Scott Lang has a deep history in comics, the art complements the tone of the story in creating the feeling of a new story and world. We see other familiar characters that reminds us of the bigger world Ant-Man is part of, but you can easily immerse yourself into the story and not worry about other titles. Readers of a certain other series should be especially happy to see one character that appears here. I also gonna read other reviews also about this one from the other websites. So comicbookresources.com have said this Ant-Man 1 hits the new comic book racks this week with plenty of buzz surrounding the character as the feature film debut of Stanley Larry Lieber and Jack Kirby's creation crawls ever nearer. Spencer packs this extra-sized issue tight with history and personality, giving readers everything they need to know about the characters regardless of their familiarity, beyond recognizing that Ant-Man and Spider-Man are both repentant, hyphenated heroes. The writer introduces readers to Scott, his former and future employer Tony Stark, his daughter Casey, and his ex-wife Peggy, before cluing readers into just how far down on his luck Lang truly is. By all regards, this Marvel is a loser, and Spencer doesn't let up on that fact. He also doesn't let Lang crumble around under the weight of his failures. But it's pretty while reading this one, it's pretty much cool because there is a good story on the back end. That's great. Spencer has proven himself to be a masterful writer of comedy in the superior foes of Spider-Man. This review is given by comicbook.com, and they have really done a good, elaborate, and as a big review, a series that we at comicbook.com loved very, very much. They have said about the superior foes of Spider-Man. Okay, just read out. Taking Boomerang and his Miss LaBelle Sinister Six, he showed a verve for both monologue and dialogue-driven gags within his scripts, whether it was Fred Mears narrating his failures or the entire team taking verbal pot shots at one another. The series' words were always landing. Big loves. Ant-Man 1 is the comic that proved this success was anything but a fluke. While the back and forth between narration and reporting is similar, the style of the characters is vastly different. Both Ant-Man and Boomerang may be down on their luck, but that's where the similarities end. Immenseness has replaced deceit, and dedication has replaced laziness in a leading man that is truly heroic. Yet the comedy core remains consistent. There are plenty of loves to be found in Ant-Man 1. I don't find myself laughing out loud at most comics, but Spencer Anderson's work elicits loud goofies on a regular basis. There aren't one or two funny beats, but a steady stream of verbal jokes, side gags, and other critics as the issue processes. The opening sequence, in which Scott Lang is shown interviewing for a job, contains plenty of jokes that work on multiple levels. An explanation about the printing process at Kinko's alongside a double-sided resume will leave readers recently familiar with job searching both sympathetic and laughing loudly. Yet Lang's missteps here don't even come close to reaching the hilarity of a pair of boxes discovered later in this issue. That's a really hot kind of scene, and that's really cool thing. All of those jokes are tied into Lang's job search, struggling through interviews about highly qualified applicants. It's the sort of premise that sounds mundane if you forget that this all occurs in the Marvel Universe, where interviews are done in costume and the other applicants have superpowers. As entertaining as this all is, it also serves it to provide a great deal of insight into the character of Scott Lang. The process of selecting an appropriate career not only helps to detail Ant-Man's skill and personality, but also what drives him to succeed. It is the perfect introductory challenge. The clever use of a resume alone serves to naturally raise questions about a complicated continuity involving time spent as a thief. That's the thing. So every comics has some bad things and good things also. And so I'm gonna read bad things from comicvine.com. They have given one of the fears I had going into this series was aspects of Scott Lang would be tweaked to accommodate the upcoming movie. Despite the brief recap on his life, there could be some confusion at the appearance of Cassie, who was there, and her seeming younger than she was before. Her resurrection happened recently in the pages of Avengers World 16. There are some changes to Cassie due to her return. Hopefully this will be addressed more, but likely makes her fate what her movie counterpart may be like. It's also a little strange that Scott was seen as still in a relationship with Dollar during in that issue of Avengers World, but there's no mention of here despite the changes Scott makes in his life. The verdict about this issue, get ready to be able to say you are now an Ant-Man fan. Nick Spencer is taking the off and down on his luck Scott line and showing us what he is willing to do be Ant-Man, as well as a further. I have just completed seeing the new trailer of the Ant-Man, and that is pretty cool. What I was seeing, it's really great. Hope you guys will enjoy that one too. So Raman Residence Art is great at depicting both the human moments as well as the action sequences involving a guy that can shrink down and communicate with ants. You'll be pleasantly surprised by how much you'll enjoy this book. Scott Lang is one of my favorite Marvel superheroes. His role in Matt Fraction and Michael Red Fantastic Four is one of my favorite in the past decade of superhero comics. This is given by comicbook.com. The writer says he's about as far from an A-list superhero as you can get go. Much of the beauty of Ant-Man issue 1 lies in its ability to both introduce and make you care for a character whom many readers may not have been aware of before the announcement of the Marvel Studios film. Even better, it's all done on the guise of a top-notch comedy, comparing style and tone to the superior force of Spider-Man. It's quite a difference. It's a very high bar for Resonance. Spencer's collaboration with Steve Lieber on the title created some of the most inventive panel constructions and storytelling devices in superhero comics this decade, yet Resonance does not disappoint. His transitions between and within sequences are crystal clear. There is never lack of clarity as to what is occurring or why two panels are set together. Sometimes it depends on the storyteller, and sometimes it depends how it's getting done by the reader. And the brief glimpses of this style appear in several sequences early in the issue. Ant-Man tumbles through a series of lasers using ants for support between his maneuvering and the text placement by letterer Travis Landman. It's an exciting display of acrobatics that dizzies the eye. Rosinus seems to be at his best when Lang is at his smallest. His displays of shrunken bravado are great, but so are the quieter moments. This is the quieter moments Lang is depicted at his smaller stature when he's feeling small, and these moments land with surprising resonance. Jordan Boyd enhances Rosinus' work with a palette that complements the line work very well. So hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you want to enjoy this book in full form and full adrenaline, just go to the store and buy this book. Support the creators. This will make the creators doing a more inventive and more good comics. That will be great. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave the like button. Hey guys, it's Steve and it's time for Death of Wolverine, the Weapon X program issue 5. Hope you guys will enjoy this one. This is quite a really good issue, and the stories are good, progressive sometimes, and it's all connected to Wolverines. Just came out. I'm going to do this review after this one. So the final, The Death of Wolverine, the Logan Legacy, was a bit of dirt given how it was less a conclusion and more of a segue into Wolverines. This series ends in much the same way. This final issue offers no real surprises given that we have already seen the aftermath play out in other books, but one element the book does have in its favor is its handling of Sharp as he completes his transformation into Shogun. The end result is a full-blown conclusion, but also makes the journey worthwhile. The book also weathers the visual shift from Salvador LaRocca to Angel Unzueta. Oh, what did I just miss? And even color pretty well. Shogun's stylish shortplay helps keep the climax humming along even as the story just sort of cuts off and the readers are directed elsewhere. JC, this is given by IGN.com and they're given a good 7.0. No, this is given that they have given 6.6. This review is only just a barely good, but we are gonna move to Geeked Out Nation's review. GeekedOutNation.com. This review by Jidobi Atunze. Death of Wolverine, the Open X program 5 brings a close to our introduction of these 5 new characters, and the first part of this step forwards freedom, an impressive story that shows what happens when you take risks with new characters and find a legitimate way to make them relevant to the world around them, especially when their connection to Wolverine and those like them will be what saves their lives. It only throws you off that going into this issue there's a small gap, and there is something just few changes. Gap created for the sake of time between Scale, Endo and Jung's fight with those operatives and their capture, a confrontation which should have had most people excited to see that Endo is a lot more than she seems on the surface. Though with that said, you enjoy the fact that this issue takes the time to properly clarify the situation between organizing Sharp as a host, Paradise's true intentions, and what the survivors need to do if they really want to be free. Everything was pretty much straight to the point, and that is what should happen. Even there is so much to cover going between this mini, the Logan legacy, and then converging into Wolverines. Though what stands out most is the inner struggle between Ogun and Sharp, if only because you would have feared Sharp was gone, which would have been the easy way out. But Soul keeps both, which works when they have such clashing personalities. It was nice as well. It was to finally know about what about ability it was that Sharp has because of Shogun. The revelation of the situation was actually quite shocking. You somewhat got the gist of the type of people the survivors were when Nero showed his true colors in the very first issue, though you never would have imagined that the same could be said for the rest, even if they don't remember. Maybe not to the same extent, though still making them all worth the chase from Paradise. For having two artists on this issue was very appealing. Hard to say, there is much not to like between the action, character design, Shogun, structure, detail in clothing, scenery, and more perspective. But the special thing about this issue is it doesn't bore you to trying to create something that doesn't bore you from panel to panel. The Paradise facility has you feeling conflicted just seeing all this super straining while knowing there is something dark to the place. With the conclusion of Death of Wolverine, the Weapon X program issue 5, there's a lot to look forward to moving on with these characters. There's a clear-cut direction and much to be still be explored with them. If you're not reading the Logan Legacy, you should definitely do yourself a figure and pick it up now to know where they are presently and their fates. That is the difference when we change. So as I told, what about this that what I really like about this comics is that they are really followed up with the stories and they really converged it into one single story that is upcoming. Like this, the story continues in the Logan Legacy 7 and then Wolverines 1. But I will do this review on Wolverines 1. Hope you guys will enjoy it, and just wait for Wolverines 1. It will come very soon, and until then, have a great day. Hey guys, after a long time I'm doing a Hulk issue review, and this video will be enjoyable, I think. Hope you guys will like it. Is this the last? And anyway, so here we go with the start of Hulk issue number 10, and the best thing about this one, I like the cover page. Really great. This is cool. Okay, here we go with the review from comicvine.com. Korean Deadpool's creator is giving the review, and I will do the review from Jordan Richards, also Adventures in Poetry.com. They have really good reviewers there, and they do a really nice review. So Dog Green might be smartest and strongest one there is, but how will he stack up against cleverest one there is? This is the Comic Vine talk. So there's a real tone of you knew this was coming that permits this issue one, and it's directed both at Dog Green and the reader. Finally, Green can't delay or put it off. He's go to hunt down the Red Hulk, aka Thunderbolt Ross, one of Banner and Hulk's longest standing villains, and as of his transformation, likely his most dangerous one, and all the strength of a Hulk. And while he may not be the brightest bulb in the bunch, he's got a brilliant tactical and mind capable of outthinking nearly anyone in the midst of battle. Gary Duggan does a fantastic job of keeping these issues, which really have been a series of fights, fresh and interesting by putting each of the different Gamma creatures' main features front and center, thus serving to differentiate not just the characters but their styles of combat. We get a brief appearance by Matt Murdock, but like other non-Gamma characters, he mostly serves as the Futurum Fulcrum upon which the lead up to massive fight turns. He also gets to have his own sniping quips and a great moment involving a rather unique use for a pair of chopsticks. But this issue is all about these two giant logs laying into one another. Another very cool thing that Duggan does it make Red Hulk a legitimate threat to Doc's well-being, finally giving the book a sense of suspense and allowing Green a moment of pain and even doubt. At least he's not entirely unstoppable. Mark Bagley's pencils are absolutely amazing on this issue, with the character designs evoking the look of Hulk co-creator Ed McGuinness and making both characters look absolutely unstoppably cool. As they hulk up and the battle becomes more vicious and violent, we get a decent sense of pacing, but an amazing sense of motion and action, a critical step to any battle-focused issue. The inks by Drew Hennessy do an incredible job of adding weight and details, as well as a sense of incredible impact as the two giants crash into each other. Jason Kidd's colors are also bold and gave the book the look of a classic Hulk story, and despite it taking place at night, the book has a brightness and a vibrancy to it that perfectly suits the epic tone. The bad things about this one setting the book in San Francisco was a strange choice considering Ross' only real interaction with the city. By the way, there is a plane going on above my house. Have you imagined that one? Okay, without wasting any time, I'm gonna do further review about this one. While it was a cool seeing Daredevil and he had a neat moment, one of the disadvantages of moving him across the country is that having him randomly pop up in another character's book becomes less random and needs more justification. There's also slightly too much needless exposition, either of the characters explaining what they're doing or why are other characters flat out saying things for the benefit of the reader that either could have been inferred or explained without flat out saying them. So what the adventures in Pooties.com is saying, let's see. Something else that's a bit disappointing and is starting to feel more noticeable is with Dog Green himself. He's an interesting character and decent villainous figure here, but honestly he feels a bit too invincible. Sure, he has some flaws and has been seen struggling to keep his more hulkish side down on occasion, but when it comes to his plans and strategies, he always succeeds. He never fails or is unable to get what he wants in the end. Even in this issue, where it looks like Red Hulk wrecked him and his lab greatly, it is somehow a victory because he planned on luring him into the place to get his gamma ray signature or something. Of course, that raises the question about why he didn't have his stuff or AI off somewhere safely, but in any event, Dark Rain is starting to become a bit too boring if he wins all the time, regardless of the story. So hope you guys have enjoyed. This is the final image of this issue. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the like button and buy this book if you want to enjoy it full. Okay, so here's the time came. Spider-Man 2019 issue number 7. For a long time, I have been waiting to do a video on Spider-Man 2099. Hope you guys will like it. Here you go with the review from comicvine.com and fandompost.com. They both are really good reviewers, but I love comicvine.com the best, and this review is given by Korean Deadpool's writer. On January 7, 2015, yes, on the date of the release, Lady Spider and Miguel O'Hara rush to find the solution to what exactly makes the Inheritors tick. Last issue, the villainous demons was trapped in a stasis prison while Miguel O'Hara had made an uneasy alliance with his rival Taylor Stone to use the Alchemax facility to dissect a previous clone body of demons and try to find any way to stop the Inheritors' Ravenous rampage. This issue, well, things don't exactly go according to plan. Not only is demons were more willing than expected to free himself by any means necessary, but even the advanced technology of 2099 may not be enough to handle or understand him. Peter David does a good job of establishing not only the stakes but the world that these characters move through with a great economy of pace. We very quickly understand how this world differs from ours, and not just in terms of technology. I'm hoping when this all shakes out that O'Hara, and if I am really hopeful, Lady Spider remains in 2099 instead of returning to the already overcrowded modern New York of 616. We also got a great semi-comedic interlude of a knockdown, drag-out fight between demons and an unexpected 2099 character that is really unexpected. Where from he came, like it's from nowhere. It's like from thin air. Will Sline's line work likewise does a good job of snapping from place to place without becoming too difficult to follow. Despite being a fairly contained issue, there are quite a few locations and characters featured, and Sliney not only makes it easy to keep track of, but the characters look great as well, and he gives a kind of smooth detail that evokes the feel of the time period, but also gives the characters a great deal of expressiveness. I have also always been impressed with Antonio Fabulous colors in this title and how they give the city a look of that is perpetual night, artificially lit by cyberpunk neon, at once dark but bold and sharp as well. So I want to say something from fanofpost.com also. They have given a little read that is good content. Please note that content proportions of a review may contain spoilers. They have already alerted us, and this is a whole spoiler kind of thing. As the Spider-Verse story goes on, this issue does what it should do by actually carrying forward with events from the previous installment rather than throwing us elsewhere in the world's event storyline. Things happen across multiple books. Did I say just books? Oh my god, shit! Books with what's going on, but I definitely felt more in tune to events here since it picked up from before, and there was a lot going on before as Miguel made his way back to 2099 with demons chasing him and the others, with only Lady Spider and him surviving to this point. Capturing demons was a bit of luck overall, but it's the kind of luck that's needed for Miguel to try and figure out exactly what's going on with the Inheritors. Like a superhero and a scientist, he wants to solve their hunger problem, and having someone to examine and work with definitely helps. Miguel does some good stuff here in setting things with Stone, for the moment at least, to get what he once, while that is demons isn't holding and unable to break free. Some actions are there, some unnecessary actions are there, but overall it looks pretty quite good. There's definitely some bad blood between Miguel and Stone, considering Stone sent him to 2014 to get him out of the way, but Miguel has so many bigger fish to fry that he is willing to do what's necessary. The bad things about this one, this issue in particular commits a cardinal sin of it entitled Pointlessness. It's not a bad issue, but the entire crux of it doesn't happen. We learn very little about the demons and even less about the Inheritors, and while the characters are well written, nothing that happens in the book is significant. significant or substantial enough to carry it forward without its ties to Spider-Verse, so it neither functions effectively as a standalone nor a tie-in. The main thrust of the suspense is in the issue is likewise predicted on a very out of character assumption, and that's the idea that demons would in any way. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. This is to be continued as usual. Spider-Verse is really continued. Spider-Man 2099 issue number 7 ends here. Hope you guys have liked it. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to enjoy the story, buy it. Hello guys, this is Steve and it's Tom, issue number 7. Hope you guys will like it. Yeah, as always I told and I am really telling you the same words again and again, like hope you guys will like it. So let's change this. You guys rocks, and here we go. Enjoy this Tom issue number 7 review. And I'm just live reading about this one. Hope you guys will like it. Oh, did I just use the same thing? So I expect you guys will like it, and just go to the store and buy this book if you want to really enjoy the book. And right now, enjoy the review. So this review is given by Geeked Out Nation by Jideobi Adunze. It's the same guy just before I did a review once more. So it's not every day that you will see Storm branded as a villain, particularly when you know she's not. It should definitely surprise a lot of people who thought that the previous issue was another one and done story. This one took things a step further and showed that Storm's actions with the clans would not go without some form of retaliation. Where this series has gone right is enforcing the views and impact Storm has on the world from her various acts of heroism. She will create enemies, she will always carry the tag mutant, and that will always make being simply Aurora very difficult on any normal basis. This case is special when it's someone who has money and influence enough so to make a senator slander her name on TV, and that is where the impact Storm makes on the world comes into play, because it is almost impossible to pull off such a feat against Storm when people remember her for her acts of heroics. This makes everything people could have posed as filler relevant. These are the people who since issue 1 she saved. Those are the people who will see her post her level and will not judge her basis based on her genes. Even getting their reactions to the situation Storm found herself in made it all the more genuine. So this is quite a bit story that Storm is what it's a really changes in the story, ups and downs, that makes the show fun. That is really cool. Nerdsunchin.com gave a good review about this one. Also, Pack delivers a solid script in Storm 7 pitting Aurora against a corrupt US senator and the full force of the FBI. It always nice to see emphasis placed on Aurora's skills as a thief, which Pack does well, physically engaging and evading the armed guards rather than relying solely on her powers. Aurora proves herself a competent hero in more ways than one, even with her busted ankle. The dialogue gets a bit thin in the closing confrontation at the senator's house, but overall Pack uses Aurora's supporting cast as well. Callbacks to the characters like Forge and Marisol. Watching the drama unfold helps to strengthen Aurora's support network as well as her role as a leader. Readers want a hero they can root for, and Puck certainly delivers that. That's the cool thing about this one. Artist Berunovo does a decent job, especially in the opening pages. The way he renders Rachel's telepathic projection is both inventive and amusing, expressing the discussion through the issue that the use of tiny X-Men running around on Aurora's unconscious body. Unfortunately, the rest of this issue is visually disappointing. Sometimes it may depend about this one, but you have to cooperate with this one because not all the pages will be same if the artists are different. Sometimes readers of these issues and readers of the series will know that most of the problems lately have stemmed from Yukio's involvement with the shady underground crime ring. Storm 6 introduced to us the idea that the government might be hiding something and Storm was in their way. This issue bridges them together and gives us nicely woven web of corruption that threatens not just Storm and the mutants but mankind as well. So that's a change of something that really interests me and interests everyone. The inclusion of Beast, Nightcrawler and Rachel was a solid choice. Their People Storm can trust and of course have the means to help her. It was a smarter move that they were just there for assistance and bringing clarity to the situation for Storm. They allowed her to do her thing and made it a bit easier for her to do so. That is all the influence they really need in a solo series that isn't too tied to the X-Men. Soon after Storm is captured of government officials, we get treated to a couple nice panels in which Beast, Nightcrawler and Rachel Grey communicate with Storm. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. This is the issue. Hope you guys will like it, this one. And I like this issue, and from my side it's got a really 7 out of 10. So just go to the store and buy this book and enjoy in your couch. Hey guys, it's Steve, and after waiting for a lot of time, I have done just a few days back. I have done just previews and first look also of Wolverines 1. Here we go with the original series first issue. That is really good, but it didn't get that much of a rating from the reviewers because it's quite a bit of unexpected things did just happen on this one. IGN is really unhappy with this one. There's a lot to be said for the weekly format. When it's executed properly, Marvel could just as easily have launched new solo titles for Dakin, Sabretooth, X-23 et al. With different creative teams and left it at that. But a weekly series helmed by Charles Soule and Ray Fox means that the overarching story will remain focused and purposeful even as individual arcs move in their own directions. Frankly, the larger X-Men franchise could benefit from a similar treatment. So the general premise of this series is sound. Unfortunately, it doesn't come together all that well in issue 1. More than anything, the problem stems from Soule's efforts to juggle too many characters at once. This isn't a particularly clean start for the new series. Wolverines is already building directly from both Death of Wolverine, The Logan Legacy, and Death of Wolverine, The Weapon X Project. This issue includes the full casts from both by the time Soule is through introducing the entire gang and setting up their first big fight scene. There's little room for anything else compared to a similar project like Batman Eternal. That series started small and built towards larger conflicts. It didn't throw Red Robin, Bluebird, Selena Kyle, Spoiler, and the rest of Batman's allies at readers in the first issue. Hopefully, once the Wolverines cast is broken up a bit and subsequent arcs focus on specific characters, the series as a whole will improve. It remains to be seen if the characters' dynamics can keep readers coming back as well. Soule showed a strong, very minimalist take on writing Wolverine in the original Death of Wolverine mini-series. Unfortunately, that depth hasn't been as apparent in this Fallout project. There's an excess of dialogue in this issue as characters are prone to stating their feelings, rehashing old relationships, and generally providing an unnecessary level of exposition. But sometimes it feels more like low-budget movies also. But overall, this is quite not just up to the mark. That's why, because it may happens, we had a lot of expectation from Wolverines 1 because it's a really a huge brand. That's why the good things about this one, who would have thought the Death of Wolverine could lead to so much. Okay, let me tell you before that, this is a review given by Tony G. Guerrero and this is comicvine.com. Could lead to so much. Following Wolverine's death, we had a couple of series that Death of Wolverine, The Logan Legacy, and Death of Wolverine, The Weapon X program carry on the story and introduced us to some new characters. I'm a fan of Nick Bradshaw's art, and FCO Plusania does an amazing job on the colors. Unfortunately, there's a but coming. The bad things about this one, as much as I enjoy Bradshaw's art, it doesn't feel like it sets the right tone for this series. Combined with Plusania's colors, the book looks too bright and cheerful. We have a book full of deadly killers in search of a dead body. Even seeing Mystique covered in blood or Sabretooth get smacked by an enchanted wrecking ball doesn't look as bad as it should. For readers that have not read both that Death of Wolverine minis, they might be a little lost. It might be a hard sell for them to jump into a weekly book priced at $3.99, where the half of the characters might be unknown to them. We also have a strange two-page shift in art as Alison Borges fills in. The art is nice, but it feels like an interruption by being a noticeable change. That's changed sometimes, but hope you guys will like it. The verdict about this one: Marvel's first weekly title is off to a good start. I don't know what's gonna happen on the next issue, that means issue number 2, but all the best to Marvel, and hope you guys will like it. Don't forget to leave a like and buy the book to create the support us.